Hey guys, let's get more news about Warriors, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Klay Thompson's return was perfect. Ever since it started to become clear that Klay Thompson would be leaving the Golden State Warriors, I had eagerly and nervously anticipated Tuesday night's game. Even before I knew what the schedule was. Even before I knew the Dallas Mavericks were his team of choice. I was anticipating Thompson's return to the Bay Area, and his first time facing the team he played his initial 13 seasons with. I was excited about it. I was also scared. Rom-coms may be full of pairings that continue to love each other and get along after a split, but athletics are rarely so optimistic when divorce is on the line. Michael Jordan's run of basketball perfection ended over a dispute with the Chicago Bulls front office, and that relationship was never repaired. Jerry West spent 14 years playing for the Los Angeles Lakers, 3 years coaching them, and 18 years as their general manager, but wasn't even on speaking terms with the organization when he died earlier this year. LeBron James caused his hometown team's owner to write him public hate mail because he decided he wanted to play with his close friend and try living in a new state for the first time. Things might have felt different with Klay, but basketball offers no shortage of examples when you forget that professional competitors simply view things differently. Where you and I might see nothing, an elite athlete can find a grudge to sit on their shoulder for decades. Thompson's majestic run with the Warriors may have been nearly perfect, but in the run-up to Tuesday's game, a 120-117 Warriors win that stands as the early game of the year in the NBA, it was easy to find ways that his return could have been uncomfortable. What if Klay didn't match the love emanating from the Warriors franchise and fanbase, and instead appeared to only hold the feeling of being slighted that seemed to drive his decision to leave? What if his output of love and gratitude surpassed that which he was taking in, and regretful, swollen eyes made us tragically wonder if he was having buyer's remorse? What if, worst of all, neither happened, and Klay seemed emotionally vacant, as though the last 13 years were not only gone, but already forgotten? There's a comical song by Blake Shelton in which he describes the heartbreak of running into an ex-lover and painfully realizing that not only she don't love me, she don't hate me anymore. But no. We were spared all those painful outcomes. Klay was clearly moved by all things big and small. The grandness of the gestures, hundreds of employees greeted him at the players' entrance, and the Warriors ran a touching tribute video when introducing him, and the minutiae of the moment. After the game he spent significant time just roaming through the home team's facilities, mingling with former co-workers. It was clear how fondly he still feels for the team, the fans, and the city, yet it was equally clear that no part of him regrets his decision to move on. I make a habit of never criticizing players' free agency choices, because every person wants something unique, and who am I to tell anyone what they should want? Yet everyone had an ounce of fear that Thompson was making a rash move based on feeling scorned and that, when cooler heads prevailed, he would realize that in trying to hurt someone else, he had only hurt himself. His comments after signing with Dallas made it fairly clear that wasn't the case. Steph Curry and Steve Kerr's comments shortly after made it even clearer. And Thompson's demeanor on Tuesday was the final data point that his decision was neither spontaneous nor irrational, it was reasoned and right. Klay's performance was also perfect for the night. It was one of his best games since donning a Mavs jersey, and fit cleanly in the middle ground where Warriors fans could be happy for, but not jealous of his success. A more notable performance for the better or for the worse could have been ugly. When Thompson airballed a three in the fourth quarter, the Chase Center crowd, with captain hats upon their heads, rained down a mild and good-natured eighth-year ball chant. Had Thompson had an ugly shooting night, the fans that at times started to turn on him last year might have let him hear it a bit too much, creating that patented uncomfortable situation where one starts to realize that they're being teased not because it's funny, but because it will hurt. Warriors linked to explosive athlete in NBA mock draft. The 2025 NBA draft class is expected to be one of the best classes of all time, and the Golden State Warriors own their own pick, meaning they can get in on the action. The Warriors, despite employing Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, and other veterans, have a solid young core of Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, Tracy Jackson-Davis, and Brandon Podziemski. However, with an elite group of rookies coming into the league next year, Golden State might be able to land a franchise player. While the Warriors, who are currently one of the very best teams in the NBA, will miss out on the top players like Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, and Dylan Harper, there is plenty of depth to the 2025 draft class, and a recent mock draft by the Sporting News has the Warriors landing a stud. With the 14th pick, the Warriors select McDonald's All-American guard Jaleel Bethia from the University of Miami, FL. In 2 games so far for the Hurricanes, Bethia has averaged 11 points, 1.5 steals, and 1.5 assists, and has shot 37.5% from three-point range, which is quite good for the NCAA, although he is expected to be even better. Bethia is one of the very best athletes in the draft class and uses his 6'4" frame and massive vertical leap to get above bigger players on the way to the rim. When he can't find an opening, he can just step back and shoot, making him one of the more complete offensive players in the draft class. A backcourt of the future of Bethia and Podziemski would have a little bit of everything. Both are solid shooters who don't mind getting physical, and Podziemski stands to be a better defender, although it's early in the college season and Bethia could turn into a two-way guard. With so much talent in the upcoming draft, then Bethia might not slip outside of the top 10, although if he's on the board when the Warriors make their selection, the fit is obvious. Luka Doncic admits to costly mistake in Mavericks Warriors. Luka Doncic scored 31 points in the Dallas Mavericks' 120-117 loss to the Golden State Warriors on Tuesday night, leading his team in scoring. However, he was held scoreless in the fourth quarter, including a miss on the potential game-tying bucket in the final seconds. After being one of the best clutch players in the NBA last season, it's been a rough go of it for Doncic, who is now 33.3% from the floor and 25% from 3 in 6 clutch opportunities, 5-point game or less, under 5 minutes, this season. Doncic didn't seem pleased with the quality of his last shot against the Warriors. "I think it could have been way better," Doncic said of his shot selection on the potential game-tying shot. "The shot clock was going down, so I was kinda trying to get to my spot, and then on the last shot I was trying to look if somebody was open, so I saw there's 4 seconds to go, so I just took the shot." The shot came with about 5.5 seconds remaining, but it did allow for an offensive rebound opportunity instead of living or dying on one shot. But this miss follows a similar theme to what we've seen from the Mavericks so far in the clutch, with little to no off-ball action, and even the ball screen does nothing here. There has been no real plan late in games so far from Jason Kidd, something they'll have to adjust. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Luka Doncic? Leave your opinion in the comments.